Your
Okay.
background. I don't know if you can step aside a little bit. Very 80s?
Yeah, retro at
Where
least.
where did the inspiration come from?
Actually, I don't know if I should give away my secret.
Uh-oh. Why not? This is why people watch the show. And this is for the person. Think about it this way. It's a reward for someone that stuck around an hour. Hey everyone, welcome to the Summer of Atlassian. Today I have someone special. Did you know, Kristján? Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Well, thank you for agreeing to come on. It's always a blast to see such awesome people and have awesome people on this Summer of Atlassian series. So I'm excited to have our little chat here.
Yeah. And you know what? This is my favorite time of the year. Summer.
Summer?
I just love summer. Maybe it's because I come from Iceland and we don't really have summer. You know what? You know what summer is in Iceland? People are talking like, in the wintertime, hey, do you remember last summer? And then the other person, oh yeah, that one day.
That one day.
Nice.
You only had one day?
Yeah.
So I live in Southern California, and summer is interesting here. We are barely hitting 80s.
Oh.
I have a house with a pool. I've never had a pool before in my life, and we bought the house the last day before the end of the year. Didn't move into it until middle of January, and we haven't been able to use the pool. It's been so cold. So we're like, can it get hot so that we can go in there and justify this expensive pool?
Well, I'm sure it'll get hot in a little bit. That's
It'll
another concept in Iceland because we got the geothermal hot water all over the place. So
mm,
all our pools are heated. So the first time I came to the States and the people, that was old enough and people were talking about pools. Oh, you got a pool? Yeah, but it's not heated. And you just, that concept did not ring.
I was just in Phoenix 2 weeks ago now, and they have air conditioners for their pools because their water gets so hot.
What? They have to cool their pools?
Yeah, because it's like 120 degrees in the summer, right?
Oh,
So you're
yeah.
in a sauna at that point, like it's bubbling water.
People are getting boiled in the pool?
Yeah, it's like it's no fun being in the pool and it's so hot, so they got to cool it down. I'm like, that's an interesting because I've heard of pool heaters, never heard of a pool air conditioner.
Air conditioner cooler thingy. Yeah, wow. Mind you, though, that I did experience that. We lived in Florida for 6 months, just by the Gulf of Mexico. And then when end of June hit, beginning of July, the ocean just got so hot. It was just not very
Yeah,
nice to do it.
Southern California, man, there's nothing like it.
Now, I
Nice,
agree. I
beautiful
agree.
weather
Even
all
though
year long.
the sand in the Gulf of Mexico is amazing, though. It's
I've
just,
heard, I've
yeah,
heard.
it's like, I don't know, you're walking on flour or something. It's so good.
I went to the East Coast back in October of last year, and I did like a coast to coast that day because I took off from San Diego Airport, which is right on the ocean. It's right there, like literally touching the water. And I flew over to Palm Beach, Florida, and so I went to that ocean as well in the same day. And I'm like, huh, looks just the same, just pointing the other way.
But yeah, finding the other way to go in. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but anyways, I was also expecting it to be much warmer, and because our water's cold, our water's like in the 50s, 60s.
Oh,
It's
okay.
freezing cold water. So, anyways, let's talk about you a little bit,
Okay.
and maybe we can kick things off with where's the inspiration? Where did the inspiration come from for the Did You Know? Because you've built this into quite the brand.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Um, it came as well, it started off that I changed jobs. I used to work for a company that had a Jira server, now data center, and then moved to this company with everything in the cloud. So, so really, it started off by having all these release notes coming out. Being in the SaaS world that we live in, there's constant changes and upgrades and tweaks. And instead of on a data center server, you upgrade once a year or once every 2 years or whatever the cadence is, and then you just read through the release notes at that time. But with the constant releases coming out, then I had to read about them and keep up what was happening. And we are on a release track. So that means that we are 4 weeks behind the bleeding edge. So when Atlassian rolls out the new stuff, we get it 4 weeks later. So that gives me a little time to read through the notes and then find out what we need to socialize or what we need to change. But at the same time, it kind of places a challenge because the stuff that I'm reading today is not going to be applicable for my end users and me until after 4 weeks, or even beyond that, maybe sometimes, because not all the changes that Atlassian rolls out is rolled out at the same time, right? They got gazillion instances, and it takes a few months sometimes for these changes to roll out. So then I thought about, I can maybe, what should I do? I put it in my calendar, remind myself, or reminder or whatnot. And that's kind of when the system came to be. And if you think about it, Atlassian released over 1,000 features last year. 1,000
I would not have guessed that number. I would have thought 10.
And the reason why you able to guess 10 is because some of them are under the hood. You don't see all of them, and as regular users, they're not aware of all these changes. But
I did last year. They did release a change that just
that you did not like very well, which was where the user management.
Yes, you remember that?
I remember that.
I was like, what the heck, man? You can't just move the button.
And that is tied to another interesting thing too, which is muscle memory.
Yeah, right? No, that's why you can't move the button, because it's
exactly. Yeah, and that's why think about like artists, like drummers in big bands. They got the drum set up very specifically.
Yeah, exactly where it needs to be.
Exactly. So when the drum techs set them up again, during every concert, it needs to be in the same place. Because if you move a cymbal 2 inches far away, the drummer's drumming, expecting to hit the cymbal right here because of muscle memory, and he misses it because it's too far out. That kind of thing, right? So it's really important that we help our end users learn about these features, especially the features that are going to help them enhance their work or reduce their work, make it more efficient. After all, we want them to reap the benefits of all these features. And so, and think about it, since we found out about 1,000 features being released last year, Atlassian has since announced that Jira Work Management and Jira Software is merging into one.
They are.
Exactly. So, did you know that the overview page in the Jira Work Management can now be found in the plans in Jira Software? It did not. Did you know about that?
I started seeing that. So I just dropped the video yesterday on a very similar matter, because I've been looking for the calendar view in Jira Software.
But
it's in the plans as well. They stuck that over there.
Exactly. So Jira Work Management, in the overview page, with the calendar and list, kind of sits in the same place as the Jira Software panel is, right? The left-hand panel. So I was kind of expecting it to move there, but no, they put it under plans. So
that's an interesting move, because that has an unintended consequence. And that is, when Atlassian's announcing, hey, we're merging the two, now I'm even more mad, because not only are you taking away a cheaper, more accessible product from the people, but you're bringing capabilities from that cheaper, more accessible, more simplified product, and you're paywalling it behind premium. Because as you know, the plans is only a premium enterprise feature, not standard or free.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting move from Atlassian. As I look, as Atlassian continues to push features, right, it becomes evident that at some point they just need to have premium. Because there's no more standard. Like, what do you get with standard now that you don't get in premium?
They have to have standard, because that's the version they're giving away free. Remember, for the 10 users, and now for 50 users.
That's still free. Like, they still have free. So it does beg the question. Like, I don't know. I feel like at one point they're going to tip so many features into premium only. Like, AI is premium only.
Yeah.
Automation rules are basically useless in standard and free now, because you have like 1,000 automation rules you can run. right? Like
and that's and that's the the business model, and that's Wall Street pushing to make them have them make more money.
right.
But think about this conversation that we just had about the movement of the calendar over to the plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one change. Okay, so let's just take an example, and then I'll continue with my little system. Because the thing is, I'm not just excited and thrilled about, or what's the word? What I'm looking for. Anyways,
Ecstatic.
excited. Let's use excited about enablement training, but I'm excited about the fun-sized enablement training, saving time for everybody else. So you and I were just talking about this Jira work management and Jira merging together and where things are going to be, right? So think about if you have and I got this written out, if you have 75 end users that would spend like 30 minutes per week reading about, researching about a feature, maybe compare it in the sandbox, because in the sandbox, at least at my work, we got the newest stuff there, the bleeding edge in the sandbox. Comparing the sandbox to the production, see what the difference is, figure things out. Oh, okay, this is how this feature works. Let's say they spend 30 minutes each. Okay, that's about a week. That's about 37.5 hours for all of them. That they're all spending time figuring out this one feature. So if you, on the other hand, if you have a dedicated Atlassian admin who will take those 30 minutes and do the same thing as everybody else is doing, but then concise that into a picture with arrows, make it easy to read, a little text, 3 to 5 minutes to read the text and look at the picture, and then post that into Slack or Teams during the week, and everybody can come in and spend 5 minutes ingesting that change, that feature. That saves about 30 hours a week with 75
Oh
minutes.
yeah. No, it's definitely interesting
So
perspective I've never thought about.
So the thing is, it's not just to do the enablement training, but it's to make it concise. Having one person do the research, make the little picture. I know it doesn't take very much, but prepare the material so the other 75 can take them, 3 to 5 minutes to ingest
As
that
opposed to
feature.
30 minutes each. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
it's such a valid point because Jira gets updated almost every single day.
exactly, 1,000 features. Remember? so there's a lot of
330 a
stuff.
day at least.
At least. So and not all of them are obviously going to be applicable to every end user in every organization. And that's why, the admin or somebody can pick them out and take the ones that are applicable
Yeah.
and egg them into the
It,
fun-sized, did you know bits.
it it makes a lot of sense, right? Especially when you compare like Atlassian with like iOS, right? Apple just had their WWDC yesterday.
Yes.
And like, man, I'm like, how by the time iOS 18 comes out, I'm gonna forget the video that I just watched. And there's
Yeah.
like 50 new features that you're gonna be able to do, right? And you're like, how do you remember all these things? And I think the same thing with Atlassian. It's like so many new features, so many, and even with existing features, right? There's new techniques, new methods, right? Like when they added insights to your board, that like you can see the burn down chart from within your
Yeah.
board. Like that was like a little subtle change, but somebody's got to know how to use it. Somebody's got to know that it exists.
Another thing too with having somebody like the system that I've been using, having somebody like an admin post once a week or so in a Slack or team channel about these did you know tidbits, is that's an opportunity as well to remind people of features that are beneficial, really time saving,
Right.
making people efficient. You can remind people once in a while, 3 months later, remind me of that. Like WWDC, like you talked about, all these features, they should come out with a short concise list that you can go over the features again. Hey, remember what we announced in June? Well, now it's been released, and here is how you do that.
Yeah. Now I do want to ask you then. So, because I run into this problem quite a bit, 100% agree with everything you're saying. I think really, really smart. Something I've been wanting to do, but I'm not very creative. So
Okay.
my pictures are ugly.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. Like the data is easy to get, right? I get the concept right? But I'm never able to create anything that I'm like, ooh, I want to click on that. Like I want to see that. But that point aside, right? How do
you
you
need
like?
to contract that to Said or
Yeah,
somebody.
I
Yeah.
think that's what. Yeah, I think that's. I one day I'm gonna tap that part of the brain that can be creative. But so that aside, right? Like obviously it's easy to do the did you knows on new things. And I do that too to a certain extent, right? The majority of my videos today are basically did you know Atlassian just dropped the
Okay.
calendar feature, the list view, the overview that you were just talking about, right? Like these are great. They just happened. They're
Hmm.
in the they're new, they're circulating in the community as a new item. But what about historical stuff, right? Like we have new folks come into Jira daily, right? There's
Yeah.
people that have never, they're still calling it Jira, right? Like there's like brand new folks to the Atlassian ecosystem.
With all capital letters too, right?
Yeah, with all caps. And so it's like, how do you know when to recycle? How do you know how far back to go? Like
Okay.
what's new? Like technically, did you
Yeah.
know that you have a backlog?
Yeah, and that's a great question. That's a great question. So we have Slack at work, and what I had been doing is I had been posting into our departmental Slack because I was kind of debating also should I create a new Slack channel for only for this. Did you know post? But then are people going to go in there or not because they already have 2005 Slack channels, right? So I was kind of debating between that. But then somebody talked to me at the beginning of the year at work and said, "Hey, is there a possibility you could post all of these into a dedicated Slack channel? Because I want to be able to go back." So I think that would be kind of a part of the answer to your question is new people coming on board. So what I do now today is I post it in both the technology Slack channel, like I have been, and also into this dedicated Slack channel. So that means that when new people come on board, you can tell them about that Slack channel, and they can scroll up and down, so they can
Well,
find.
watch.
Yeah,
But what about at a broader sense, right? Because your use case works really well. You're in a small, I don't know how big your company is, right? But it's one company, right? But what happens when you look at it at I don't know what the number was that Atlassian shared, right? But 3 million users in the Atlassian ecosystem, right? Like, how do you scale your did you know?
yeah. Well,
You're like, that's
so
why we're here to chat.
yeah, exactly. So I think, so in a way, what I think and what I've been doing is I've been trying to share this with other admins, so they could set up their own list. So basically, what I have a Confluence page per year, and that's where I set them all up,
Hmm.
and I have them ready. So when Thursday morning comes around 8:30, I don't have to think about, oh wait, what should I share? Because I
So,
just have it all ready. I just copy paste.
so that's
Um,
another interesting thing. Do you drop one a week, one a day,
one a week,
every other day, one
one a
a
week.
week?
Yeah, I start off every other week, and then there were just so many features that I was excited about.
I know. Well, that's what I was gonna say. So 1,000 features. I'm just gonna do some back of the math
Well,
here. 52 updates.
but no, but remember what I said earlier, not every feature is applicable to every user in every organization. So, some of them are going to be business.
5% of the news you're covering.
So, so what I'm thinking about is I think this has a lot to do with the admins or I don't know, enablement people at different companies to take that list and groom it and get it ready. However, in scaling it, I've often thought about and wished that the Atlassian University, they just did away with the ACP big degrees that they had, right? Because they announced these associate degrees, and
Mhm.
then they have the badges. But what they're missing are the tidbits. What about the people that don't want to take any degree, but they just want to learn? Why doesn't Atlassian University just have
Yeah.
a list of these features ready somewhere that are accessible and that they could be, did you know, and just all of them, one big um, web page? Because think about it, the product managers already have these texts because they're in the release notes. That's
Right.
why
Yeah.
I'm
No.
reading them, right? They're
It's
missing
not
the
a whole lot of
pictures.
effort.
Yeah, they're
It's
missing the pictures. So I have to make the picture and I wish they would make pictures along with the release notes because sometimes I'm reading release notes and I'm like, what? What are they even talking about?
well,
What is this?
but you go look at Atlassian's documentation. There's never screenshots either because that UI changes so much.
Yeah, but but still, having some screenshot helps the user because
Yeah.
pictures are worth
They
a
do a
thousand
little
words.
bit better. I've been fielding a lot of my material from the Atlassian community, right? The product managers do a pretty good job now, I think, for the bigger features, right?
Yeah,
To say,
yeah,
hey, we are just introducing the team field.
Yes.
Here's what it looks like,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
they're doing a
stuff
lot
like
better
that. But
than
not everything gets like a release, right? And that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, but think about it too. They're doing a better job. The release notes have become a lot better. They used to be emails, now they're a web page. They've also added into the if you're on release track, you
I
can
get that email,
see.
right? There's an email when you're on the release track.
Yeah, and you can even go into the release tracks under admin, and there you can click on like my instance is getting updated tonight. I can click on June 11th, and I can see all the features that are rolling out in this
Mhm.
release. So they made a lot better job. They come a long way, a long way. I still
So I
miss the
wonder,
screenshot.
if an evolution for your did you know, right? You have categories of did you know, because there can be things that are applicable to end users that
Oh yeah,
admins care less
yeah.
about, and vice versa, right?
Oh yes, and end users, admins, Bitbucket or Confluence. Yeah, all these kinds of different categories.
The
Yeah,
list is endless.
yeah. But the thing is that again, I think the admin or enablement person at that company needs to be kind of a, take the lead on that
Yeah,
and groom the material for his or her organization in order to fit best. Because another thing too is this shouldn't either be just echoing whatever it's coming from Atlassian, because some things just aren't applicable.
right.
If the company
But
isn't
would it,
using advanced roadmaps or isn't has a free version of Jira, then you don't post those posts.
right? But then I think for you, then there's a good opportunity, a marketing opportunity to say, hey, Jira admins, the reason you're not putting these out is because I get it, you're busy. For $10 a month, I'll just give you my monthly drop. Just
True.
paste it straight into Slack.
I can send you the list. So, but the free version, if people just jump on LinkedIn and follow me,
But it
then
takes time though, right? You're charging to curate.
yeah, yeah. But
Because
again,
I wouldn't want to go through your LinkedIn and find the last 30 posts or the last 4 posts for the month. Although I still think volume negates luck, so you should be dropping 30 posts a day. Think
no,
about how many did you know you could possibly create. I would assume it'd be closer to 1,000 in a year.
in a year. Well, yeah. I mean, if an organization was using all the Atlassian stack and had the whole
I don't
spectrum
know,
of
just within Jira, you could come up with 1,000.
yeah,
You don't think so?
exactly.
You
But
don't
and
think?
another thing too is the did you knows they don't always have to be about the newest stuff, like you mentioned earlier.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, did you know you can rank your backlog? A lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Or the presenter mode, the Confluence, press R. You got a QR code
Yeah,
there. You can change from light to dark mode on the fly. All these things, all these features that have been for a long
that's what
time.
I'm saying. A
Uh,
thousand videos would be no problem for you, or 1,000
yeah,
items.
yeah. And some of the things that I put in the did you know post for my organization are these things that you've been able to do from day one. For example, if you see a saved filter and there are 4 issues in the filter and it's 1 to 4 and it's hyperlinked at the bottom, you click on the hyperlink and then you can see the JQL behind that saved filter. I mean, that's how I learned a lot of my JQLing is to look at other people's filters and to understand what they were doing and how to use. Um,
I can
anyways,
definitely, because the idea that's going through my head is like, okay, so I drop a video on how to plan a sprint, right? But within this 20 to 30-minute video on how to plan a sprint, I can extract 20 to 30 did you knows and kind of have them
totally.
and kind of have them like as like almost like funnels into the video and go, hey, did you know you can do this? Check out the video for a full in-depth tutorial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, speaking of 20 to 30-minute videos, another good thing with these, did you know, fun size nuggets is that they're very short. So when I
Digestible.
post them, yeah, very, digestible, very easy, fast, right? It's a 3 to 5 minute read, if even that. If there's some other, extra material, I sometimes drop a link in there. But the thing is that the attention span, right? Once you used to be able to put out a 10-minute video. I don't know. Then it went down to like 5 or 2
Right,
minutes,
yeah.
right? Now it's like 15 seconds and people are gone, or
That's what
whatever.
I'm saying. You're in such a sweet spot, right? Your items consume no more than 5 seconds, 10 at most if you're reading slow.
So
Right?
and that's the idea too. It's just to have it to dish it up so they can digest it, ingest it really quickly, right? They can just grab it, get it, and move on. And another thing too, I think if a person wants to do this within their organization is to brand it the same way. So when people see the post before they start reading it, they see the emojis that you use, or how it's structured. They just know, oh, there's a did you know from Kristján. I know it's only going to be a few seconds to read it and understand it, and that's the goal too, because you want to lure them in so they look at those posts. If you don't, if you have a long post or it's hard to read, to digest, then people will start, when they see your post, even though they're shorter, later on they'll think, oh wait, I don't have time to read that now, I'll read it later.
Yeah.
They never do, right? Because everybody's busy.
So I'm looking at, I gotta share I haven't done this, so I gotta share this, right? So I'm looking at this. Did you know you can create a whiteboard with automation for Confluence? And this is interesting, right? Because what does this link take me to? Where are we going?
Where are we going? We're going on a journey.
Okay, so it takes us to an Atlassian document.
Where is it? In
the Atlassian community. Yeah. But check this out. This is my Summer of Atlassian list. I got a how to, oops, here. And I got, stop me when you're here. Video number 6.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
But, so this link should rather go to your own video than Atlassian's, no?
Yeah. Well, and
yeah. You don't like videos. What's the thought? What's the reason? Let's peel back that.
No. It's just that I haven't given myself time to make videos and go down that path.
And then I guess the other way is, can I steer your did you know?
Yes. I just
That's such a great post. That's such a great post, right? Because again, like me, I create these videos, but relying on the YouTube algorithm is just one piece of the puzzle for discoverability, right? Where LinkedIn is a whole different beast. Because one of the things that I've been flirting with the idea, and I keep looking over here, I have in case you don't know, did you know? Actually, that's what I need to do. In case you don't know.
Yeah.
Now you know. So in case you don't know, my entire wall in front of my office is like a good, I don't know, 10, 15 feet of just pure whiteboards. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's I like to whiteboard a lot. And I have on the top right corner, I've had these series, this vision of like, I create so much long form content, this video being an hour long, right? Obviously, you have such a breadth of people out there that watch and consume content, right? And so you're gonna have the diehard fans that are gonna love this kind of stuff, and they're gonna want to watch the whole interview to see what the heck did these two talk about, right?
No.
But then you're gonna have people that are like, hey, I got like a minute. What you got?
Yeah.
What you got in a minute, right? And then there's gonna be people that are like, okay, maybe it's too quick. Give me the 7-minute version of like the top highlights, right? You see the thing with WWDC. I didn't have time to sit through a 2-hour keynote, but I watched like 2 or 3 WWDC in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So the reason I'm telling you this, right, is because this idea that I've had is like, okay, so I can teach you how to create a Jira project and to do the steps to explain this template versus that template. If you're gonna want to go this way, you got to use this template. If you want this one, you got to use this template, right? Because my videos aren't just like a click here, 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 and here. They're like you want this template because of these reasons.
The method behind the madness.
Right. And then see which method appeals to your problem. So you're going to pick the right path to then solve your problem the right way. But again, I can't do that in a minute. I can do it in 7, 10, 15 minutes, which is, again, the sweet spot for my videos. But I've been flirting with this idea of like, I'm going to teach you how to make a Jira project in 60 seconds. And just like power through it like real quick. And then make like did you know that you can create a Jira project for Scrum? And then just show you, check out the video. right? So they're like bite size. But at the same time, man, the reason the Jira Life exists is an hour-long shows because people also do like the long content. So you kind of have to appeal to everybody.
Yeah, you gotta have both. But I'm sure that the latter group, the ones that only have a minute or 5 minutes, is growing.
Right.
All right, that's a bigger group and more growing group than those that have more time to do it. So okay, what about you? What about your videos and the UI?
My mind is a very busy place, right? My head, I feel like I'm juggling 1,000 balls in the air at any time, right? And if you saw before that what you see there is an organized version of everything that I have because my lists are here. I'm writing so much.
Oh wow.
I have lists upon lists upon lists upon
Oh wait, I forgot. Because yeah, you take those notebooks out to the pool, right? You're sitting by the pool writing the list.
exactly, yes. No, I mean I like I like writing. I like consuming, right? It's
Yeah. Oh,
and so I'm writing and I like to just get the thoughts down and then I put them on the whiteboards because that's where I'm staring at them the whole day and I'm building on it so that I can eventually like see what makes it. But the stuff that you saw, everything that you saw right now is it's the filler content. The stuff in here, this is ApeTech 2.0.
okay.
This is the next version of ApeTech on where I'm going to take the channel, and it's so much deeper. I'm going to be focusing on character development in 2.0
Oh.
and building personas that people relate to. So giving everybody kind of like a character of
Yeah.
like because I want to really appeal to an actual Scrum Master
Yeah.
and the frustrations and the pain, the successes that they feel as they're interfacing with these tools from Atlassian.
This is starting to sound like a cartoon. Maybe you should talk to Disney and
I know, right? No, I mean, I spend a lot of my time studying content creation, right? So a lot of my free time is literally just studying Mr. Beast and the likes of what is why do people watch? Why do people consume content? Right? And then I'm trying to figure out, okay, so now that I know that, how do I flip it over to a technical world, right? Which is something no Atlassian training will ever do.
No. And I guess part of the thing too is like I didn't set out. This has to be fun. This has to come naturally. I didn't set out to become the did you know guy. You know,
you did a pretty good job there.
it just kind of happened type of thing. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of paths cross, things happen in our lives, doors open up, and we go through them, and then all of a sudden you meet somebody, and you meet somebody else, you introduce you to somebody else, and then do you know what I mean? Things just happen, and all of a sudden you're doing it. I was never going to be a LinkedIn poster
kind of guy.
Yeah. Just, but the Atlassian Creator Program has kind of took me down that path, and I have fun with it. That's the thing. I just have fun with making those goofy pictures. Things. By the way, I'm not good with graphics either. Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can share my screen for a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, but to answer your question while you're bringing your screen up, why don't I use Jira, right? It's like, again, Jira is great for execution, and we do use it, right? Because I have to coordinate with my wife. And so we do have a Jira where the things that do make it to production, like the things that did materialize, and we're like, okay, we're committing to it. They're on Jira because she's got to edit the video. We got to get the thumbnail. We got to get the title, the keywords, right? So by the time there to actually deliver and execute, we got Jira. But I'm still in that brainstorming, like creating the idea, noodling, like working creatively. And I can't let the tool, I can't wait for the tool. Like I just need the pen and paper and just write.
Okay.
Did you figure it out here? Let me just pop this and this.
Look at the name of the instance.
Did you know? I did not know.
So what I do like is that when I'm reading the release notes, I'm taking notes for myself, right? And that's part of the thing is I'm just that kind of guy that I like to do two things at the same time. Like I don't know, if I go to the pool to tan, I take a book. I could read and tan at the same time, right? I just like to do two things at the same time, and I don't know, somehow that's just in my DNA. And when I'm reading the release notes, I'm taking notes for my did you know stuff, right? I'm copy pasting at the same time. So what I like about it is that, I can email to this project, copy paste, email it, and have it ready. And then sometimes if I have a time, like, I don't know, if I have downtime somewhere, the internet connection at the airport or something, I can, prep them, make them ready, write the actual text. And then I just have to make the graphic and it's ready to go. Mind you, this was kind of funny. It's duplicate dashboard gadgets.
Yeah.
By accident, they put in release notes, but then it isn't ready.
Yeah, man, this is a really good way to use like eat your own dog food, right? Again, I gotta stop advertising. I don't use Jira as much as I should.
No, but I just I thought, well, I needed an instance too, so to be able to take some screenshots if it had like sensitive data. I didn't want to take that from my work. So I wanted to set up an instance anyways, and then after I started doing it, it's a lot easier, a lot better. Here I can come get my ideas that I've already gotten, or information already gotten, and then the needs review, it hasn't been groomed yet. The approved is groomed, ready to go. Just copy paste. And I should just
first of all, kudos for using this over Trello, because I'm anti-Trello.
And well, yeah.
I love Brittany to death, though.
Sorry, Brittany. Any rate, but I think it's also I needed an instance to test some of these things.
Right.
Right.
That's a good point, right? Like, so I guess maybe for me, I live life more dangerously, if I had to describe it, because like I get asked this a lot. Like they're like, "Hey, Alex, we need a presentation on Jira. We need a training on Jira. How much prep time do we need?" I'm like, "Were you free to jump on the call now?" Because I'm like, I use the tool. I'm in Jira all day, right? Like 12, 14 hours a day, and I'm like, there's not a whole lot I don't know about this dumb thing at this point.
and that is good. So what I've done at work is I do some Zoom sessions too, like live sessions over Zoom, right? But what I've done is I've written up a little glossary of Jira terminology, like reporter, watcher, status, workflow, things like that, and explains what they are. And I give people the link to that Confluence page as well. So I have
you're just missing out on so much, because I have ideas for all of that. I gotta peel some layers here. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Like my wife and I have been working on these things. Go ahead.
So I can jump on a live session and help people, the people that are taking their first steps in Jira, but it's nice to have something also to hand out that they can reference later, because after all, we learn by repetition. So we're gonna have to either hear things many times or read it or reference something, and that'll help us.
But yeah, we have these PDFs. See, if I hover, you can get a preview of it. See, and I've been like creating these checklists, and I have guides and I have playbooks, and I'm creating. We have a Jira glossary in here somewhere too, where I gotta like find it for you. But I know we have like a Jira. There we go, Jira ABC's glossary that we've been working off of, right? That what is all this stuff? I haven't published any of this, right? Because oh shoot, I have a lot. It's like 10 pages.
Wait, that's a lot longer than my glossary. You sent it to me.
I know, I should send it to you, right? No, but the idea here is all of these items, right, are very LinkedIn worthy to draw the attention in, get something of high value completely for free. But the reason I haven't published is because I still haven't figured out the email collector part. Because I want your email so that as I launch my courses, right, I'm working on 15 courses right now, aggressively and concurrently. I just want to be able to, you got to own your stuff, because LinkedIn might go away one day, right? Like, and there is no monetization on LinkedIn right now, which is a really big mess, right? TikTok might go away, so those things, like, you lose your following, you lose your audience, and so it's really important to be able to collect.
Very volatile. or even, somebody reports you on Facebook or any of these accounts, and your account is locked, and it's the hardest thing to get it unlocked, or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That can be scary too. So you can't put all your eggs in the same basket.
In a single basket, yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible.
But as you can see, there's a lot of I tell people there's no shortage of ideas here.
No.
Just a shortage of time.
Yeah, that's the problem too. Another
So
thing.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was going to pivot over to something else.
Well, real quickly, I was talking to Rafael.
I can see you're aggressively simultaneously working a lot of things because you're eating as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like you, right? We got to eat and talk at the same time. I was talking to Rafael today. I don't know. Are you familiar with him from Brazil?
Yes. I met him at Teams.
He made a pretty big splash at Teams, right? Walking around with his shirt. He was hard to ignore. And we had a chat earlier today, and it's rewarding because he turned our conversation. I usually interview, and he started asking me questions, and I'm like, wait. It threw me off because I'm not used to. Like I go on, like I'll be a guest. That's when I'm expecting questions, but on my own show, I wasn't expecting people to question me. And so we got into the topic of like content creation, right? So he's got his YouTube channel, he's trying to grow it, and going through the mechanics of like what does it look like? What's the journey ahead for me? Because he's kind of right where we are with the Jira life. Okay. Right. Okay. Only difference is with the Jira life, we have the benefit that I'm already 2 years ahead of the Jira life. So we're taking the Jira life and we know exactly where we're going because I've been there. And so Rodney and King Bob just kind of come along for the ride because I know how to navigate the YouTube landscape really, really well. And so we started talking about like, hey, Alex, like, what about this or what about that? And so I was telling him like, here's the business plan. Like, here's how you turn this content creation into a business. And then at the end, we concluded like, we really need to build like a coalition, a group really of content creators within the Atlassian ecosystem, right? Because your stuff should trigger like things for me, and my things can like that glossary that I have. That's your content for you, right? And like, there's got to be a way for us to help each other, collaborate with each other more, right? And just build bigger and better content.
It totally is. I've done some did you know posts on LinkedIn that reference what Jimmy Seddon has been doing, like some of his videos with certification preparation, stuff like that.
Right, but I'm assuming you do them just for the sake of doing them. You don't really talk to Jimmy and say, "Hey, Jimmy, we're going to work on this together."
Yeah, no, it's just when as I come across these,
that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? It'd be interesting for it to be a coordinated effort.
Okay, planned effort. Yeah, but this is
where I drop like that post that you drop with Andy. It would have made way more sense for it to drop with the video that I'm going to publish in like 2 weeks, right?
If I only knew that, the list that you have paper behind.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Like having a group of content creators within the Atlassian ecosystem. And that's really what I was hoping the creators program would become eventually.
Okay.
The only difference is that most of the creators on there, they create content, but I don't know if they don't see it or they don't want to see it. But there's a huge business opportunity behind it, right? And again, a collaborative, coordinated effort will yield far greater returns than just randomly throwing out a picture on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
that you're throwing random pictures. I'm saying the community as a whole.
Yeah. But I'm not going to stop you from sending me some checks. Feel
some
free.
Checks?
No, I'm just kidding. But hey, okay. A couple other things I'm thinking about here. I'm going to pivot a little bit. Is the two things. As I started doing these did you know posts, and they were regular, people got used to them. We have been doing lunch and learn. We did it for a little bit and stopped, and they restarted again last fall. Right? Some other guy got in, and he's doing it now twice a month. Lunch and learn. And what he thought of, and he approached me. I didn't ask him. Was, hey, what about having Atlassian Corner in the beginning, 3 to 5 minutes? We'll start off the lunch and learn. Welcome everybody. He goes over the announcements or calendar or whatever, and then throws the mic over to me. I got 3 to 5 minutes to talk about one of those did you knows, or two of them, demo them, and then he gets back the mic and then continues and welcomes the guest. So that was a pleasant surprise that I didn't have to plug and beg and for it, that he actually reached out to me. And material that I use in these lunch and learns, Atlassian Corner, comes from my trusty did you know list Confluence page.
That's what I'm telling you. So now imagine these Atlassian Corners happening in thousands and thousands of companies across the world, 300,000 customers that Atlassian has, right? And
Okay.
and you making that list available for even if it's just the email, right? If it's just you're like, hey,
Yep.
I'll give you my list of like, here's 2023's did you knows, totally free. Just give me your email and I'll let you know when we drop the next list.
Yeah.
Right? Because then that gives you opportunities of like when you host a did you know webinar, right? Because you can have a webinar just for did you know when you're dropping new merch, because I'd love to buy one of your shirts, right? Stuff like that. Like it's a better business opportunity because there's going to be other people that are going to have the same need in all 300,000 customers of Atlassian.
Oh yeah. Yes, I totally agree. Going back to the UI again a little bit, 1,000 new features or 1,000 releases, right? Some of them were tweaks, some new features, some changes. Can you and this is great as in product enhancement. We're getting better stuff or more reliable stuff, right? But this is also a double-edged sword, because at the same time, the Atlassian University needs to maybe update their material, their questions, because all of a sudden, Beacon isn't Beacon, or Atlassian Access isn't called Atlassian Access anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Or and that's probably one of the reasons why they refrain from having any screenshots in their questions. They do have some diagrams, but they're usually more to explain like an organization or different projects, so you can see the relations between them. But still, it's in the words. Some of it is in the words of the questions themselves. So they have to go through all their material and update as these changes are being made. So it's quite the task if you think about it.
It is, yeah. It is. It's definitely, but it's also evergreen.
Well, some of it, right?
All of it, because whenever it gets updated, it's a new opportunity for new content, for a new audience, for new perspective,
for us out there. But for the Atlassian University, think about it. They're worried about sending people into exams that got the name of the wrong product,
but they're doing it anyways, because ACP 520. I don't know if you. I took the ACP 520 in February. I thought I was going to fail.
Okay.
And the reason I thought I was going to fail is because I spent 12 hours a day in Jira. 8 of those hours are spent in one version of the admin.atlassian.com. And then the other 4 to 6 hours are spent the other 4 hours are spent in another version of admin.atlassian.com, and another 2 hours are spent in the third version of admin.atlassian.com. And there's 3 versions today. There's 3 versions of admin.atlassian.com today that any customer can be using. And how the heck, why would you test on that?
Yeah.
And not have a unified experience?
Oh. And that's hard,
It is. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they're already doing it. So just make more content.
So I've been involved with the certification process, the questions that they have a little bit, with Jimmy, for example, and they tried really hard to not let that happen, not let that slip through the cracks, or
right.
We heard them talk, if something is about to change the name, they hold back on those questions and wait. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort to harmonize everything, to make sure that everything is kind of going there.
Yeah, but I think that's where Atlassian can do a better job, because internally they should know their product roadmap.
Yeah, I think part of the challenge has been growing pains in the last few years. There's just been a lot of acquisitions and trying to consolidate that and getting the same communication across the board. So personally, I'm happy with Jira Work Management and Jira Software coming together as one.
I'm not.
No, but I am. I'm happy that they're
being
simplified. Because people say, oh, I can do that in Jira. Well, which Jira can you do that in, right? And Jira isn't Jira. People, it's not the same thing, and it's a confusing message for the people in the market, the buyers out there. We as users, we get caught up in this confusion. Think about the buyers out there. They haven't even touched Jira yet, but they're trying to figure out what is what.
Right, but that's kind of where my problem begins, because when I forgot who I was talking to about this, I think it was Brittany actually, right? When you look at Jira Work Management, and then the fact that there's Jira Service Management, and the fact that there's Jira Software, and the fact that there's Jira Product Discovery, and then that child that nobody wants to talk about, Jira Align, right? The fact that they exist, I'm okay with, because I have a set of questions that I ask to guide you into which of the 5 Jiras you need, right? And okay, sure, you're just telling me with this merger or this combination of these two becoming one, all that's going to happen is you just have one Jira. Well, I'm like, okay, cool. I can respect what you're saying. It simplifies the decision-making process, right? But now Jira can do whatever the hell you want it to do. So you just shifted the decision-making problem further down. Because Jira is now so customizable. How do you know what you want?
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, but that's a people problem, isn't it? In a way, they have to know what they want.
Problem that I charge a lot of money for.
Yeah. Well, and for you, okay, you're not happy, and I can see I opened up a can of worms here. But why I'm happy is that people say, "Oh, I want the list view or the calendar view." Okay, it's your work management, but I want to be able to have more than one Kanban board attached to that project, or some other requirement.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that's why I feel like combining them together is hopefully now we're gonna solve that by being able to offer all these features.
I'm all for that. I applaud it, right?
You just want money.
No, not necessarily, right? I feel like it's a bigger pain point for me, right? Because today there's a structure. Agile equals your software. So
the guides you. The guides you down the path.
Guides me, right? But the impression that I got when Anu was like, "You don't need to do an epic anymore." I'm like, "Great, Atlassian just killed Agile."
Well, yeah, but that's a sales pitch.
I say that though because like technically Atlassian did, right? You no longer are constricted by the limitations of a level 2 issue type must be an epic.
Yeah.
Right? It can be whatever you want it to be. And that's where I have the biggest problem, because what should it be? Right? Like if you go to a team or a company, your did you know is going to be, you can change the issue type from an epic to be whatever you want it to be. And that opens the can of worms of like, well, what should it be? What's the right answer?
But think about it though. Hasn't Jira always needed consultants such as yourself to help people construct and build the solution to the problems that they have?
Yes, but I still have a framework. I have something that's been around for 20 years. And when I get requests for like, I want a feature between the epic and the story, right? That's a safe model. So I can go follow the safe methodology. But if they tell me that all of a sudden they want like a document in the middle between an epic and a story, how is that going to work? Like from a structural perspective, from a process perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because now I can do it. Now I have the freedom to do whatever the heck I want with it. But should it be done that way?
Yeah. Well, we solved the fund size enablement training problem in this session. I don't know if we can solve all the world's problems.
We'll have to have a follow-up call.
1 hour session, We might have to take that offline a bit.
It's an interesting thing, though. I think from a content creation perspective, right, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on us. Because the one hard question I was going to ask you, and this is, did you know, right? Like, fundamentally, you're throwing out facts. What happens when your fact is incorrect?
Well, as in philosophically,
No,
or
just because like what if your fact is outdated, right? Or what if your fact isn't the way Atlassian designed it to be, right? Because I can say, did you know you can change the issue type from an epic to a document
yeah.
issue type?
Well, yeah, and I guess that's when it's depends on the interpretation and how people read it. So what I try to do is just come with facts that are facts, or as close to.
Right. No, I get that. But again, when we have so much customization, it becomes a little bit more subjective, the facts.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not just one size fits all
No, and
anymore.
and, and you know, and Jira has never been about that. It can be used as a ticketing system for all kinds of things.
I get that. And I'll be the first to admit, I customize the heck out of Jira to do whatever I want. But I always still, the process part is still trumping the tool part.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we have enough information on the process part of the house.
Well, and that's where it depends on the customer, on the end user. Because think about it, we got people, process, and tool
Yeah.
together, and that's where those three circles overlap. That's the sweet spot. That's where the magic happens. And
But now, so our job as admins, and I talked to Mark Ruth about this, our job as admins is going to be to architect Jira now, not so much add a status to a workflow. We'll let AI take care of that.
Yeah.
Right. Robo will go and add workflow statuses for us and to write transitions, but we're gonna have to tell Robo, we're gonna have to architect the right solution for the right problem.
Yeah.
And I think our job then as admins becomes infinitely harder because before, again, we had an agile process to go, hey, red flag, this doesn't align with this. This is not something that should be done. Just because you can, you shouldn't. But when you kind of say, we're going to leave those structures, those well-defined structures aside and give you the power to customize and cherry pick whatever features you want, who's to tell you what logically makes sense or not?
Yeah. But
So
hey, Atlassian just made it easier for those admins working for some company out there to get a pay raise, because now they can take the argument saying, hey, our job's a lot harder.
By virtue of that, then Atlassian made it easier for us to make more content to teach people or give people opinions of how they could use it.
And cheers to that. At least we're not running out of content.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. But the problem is you need more time.
I do.
Yeah, because you need to.
You didn't need more time or need a bigger team. I want to create a team.
Well, yeah, I need more time. Whether that is your own time or the team's time, right?
Yeah. So I know we're out of time here talking about time, but I did want to ask you one last very important question. Okay. Your background. I don't know if you can step aside a little bit. Very 80s?
Yeah, retro at least.
Where did the inspiration come from?
Actually, I don't know if I should give away my secret.
Uh-oh. Why not? This is why people watch the show. This is for the person. Think about it this way. It's a reward for someone that stuck around an hour. In a world of 10-second attention span, who stuck around the other 59 minutes and 50 seconds?
Let's see. There's actually a website out there that creates these pictures. So it's just downloadable. I didn't even make it. I just made the text. I chose the part of the background and the font, and they did the rest for me. Not quite an AI, but
now your face is or your head really is what it is, right? The whole head. Yeah. What was the thought then behind adding like your silhouette to your brand?
Okay, there's a story behind that. And that kind of, remember in the beginning I was telling about things happen in life. You come to an intersection, you open a door, you talk to somebody. That's what happened. Really. So what it was is that sometime last fall, I think it was, I asked my sister-in-law, who is very artistic. Well, she's an artist, really. I asked her if she could make me a face of a Viking, because we were thinking about, my wife and I were thinking about, maybe we want to do something with it. We had a RV for a while, and we called it the Wandering Viking, and we put a Viking head on it, and we thought, oh, if we do something like this again, we want to own the graphic. We don't want if we somehow, I don't know, make a YouTube channel or something, and we don't want somebody to come back to us and say, hey, actually that's copyrighted, it's mine. So I asked my sister-in-law to make a Viking head, and she asked, do you want me to have it look like you? And I said, sure. I don't know. Well, yeah, sure. I hadn't thought about that. And then she sent me back the prototype, which has become the sticker and the silhouette. And she said, what do you think about this? And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And she said, oh, I just need to do the hat, with the horns, which is historically incorrect because they didn't have hats with horns, Anyways, not that it matters, but we all think of Vikings with hats that have horns on them. So
another little subtle, did you know?
Yeah, did you know? So, but I just got excited about this silhouette thingy, and I started putting in my email signature, or I don't know. I just started putting different places and trying it out. Put on my this one.
Other side. There you go.
Yeah, put on my sleeve and whatnot. And the funny thing about it is that my sister-in-law just never finished drawing the hat on it. So now I just have a picture of my face.
But also means you can't shave because you look off.
Look off. Yeah, that's true. I need to have two silhouettes. One of summer one.
Summer one, winter one. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people know this, right? But my logo is like that little monkey that I have, right? And the first version had a mustache. Just like mine. But my wife, she hates my mustache, so she made me take it off, which I thought took away from the persona of the monkey. But very, very few people, maybe like one or two people out there have seen the monkey with the mustache.
So it's a rare collectible.
It is, yeah. See if anybody can dig it up from the archives. I believe it probably isn't one of my very first videos. It's like a 2020, 2021 thing from a few years ago.
You gotta look it up.
Yeah.
But this silhouette, it was just by accident, and then I got excited.
I love it though. I've told Jimmy has his silhouette as well, and I'm like, well, it's more like an avatar.
Yeah.
But it's a very distinctive dress, right? And I love it. It's like it adds almost like a mascot, if you will.
Yeah.
The mascot's you. But it does make that connection, right? And like you can't confuse. Like if I see that, I wouldn't confuse it with another Viking somewhere. Or another Icelandic person.
But yeah, so it was just like a fun thing that I don't know, happened, and then I made some stickers, and Ray and some other people put them on there. Andy Gladstone put them on their laptops, and now all of a sudden my face is being on these different places. But it wasn't because I wanted to be I don't know, I'm so ecocentric or
yeah, no, I think if because you can't like DYK, like I don't think you can turn that into a nice little thumbnail. Yeah, like a little logo type of thing, right? Like, and I vibe with it. Like I like it.
Yeah, but it's just again, I think that my lesson in all these things is that if we want to do something, we just need to start somewhere and do stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
start doing stuff, and things will evolve. Things will get better or worse. Then you drop that, or you meet somebody who teaches you how to do something else. And do you know what I mean? As long as you're doing, you have an open mind, you're doing, you're willing, willing to do the work, then great things will happen.
Yeah, onward.
Yes, onward and upward. But
yeah,
but sit and think about it and dream about it, then that's not enough. You need to put action.
And I think the way you started, right, like it's such a great way. Not that I'm trying to downplay what you're doing with Did You Know, right? But the like the amount of prep work that you would have to do, right? You said it earlier when you were showing your Jira board there, is like, hey, I'm just reading through the documentation anyways. I'm just clipping out the parts that are newsworthy, if you will, right? Like people should know about this. So you're just taking it out. So it's like, it's not like you're like having to like, spend all this creative energy to like, I'm like, man, I got to go dig through the UI. I got to find something that's interesting. Like it's not right. Like it's that barrier to entry is like so low that like, you're like, just do it.
Yeah.
You're not trying
And
to. We're not trying to end world hunger. Not in this
no,
episode.
and no. But the thing is, it's supposed to be
Fun.
short and fun size for people to read and look at, and also for me to create it. Right. I need to get a kick out of it too. Otherwise, I'll stop doing it. Right.
You remind me of. Are you familiar with Mark Rober?
No.
Mark Rober is a YouTuber. He used to work for NASA and Apple, and he's not just a full-time YouTuber. He's based out of the Bay Area in San Francisco. And there's a moment in his career where Apple found his YouTube channel, because his YouTube channel had it was really small at one point, but he made a video one summer where he cut up a watermelon, but he cut up another watermelon and he shaved the watermelon. He made it perfectly smooth from the inside, red, and he put it inside of another watermelon. So when he opened the watermelon, it looked like it was the coolest thing that you'd ever seen, right? Because it was just you never saw a watermelon like that. It was like an inside out watermelon. And that thing just took off. It was so popular. He got millions and millions and millions of views, and Apple noticed, right? And they're like, hey, you can't be making YouTube videos and working at Apple at the same time. It's not something that we support, right? And so he had to have he had to make a difficult decision, because he's like, this YouTube thing is fun. It's what I do to distract myself on the weekends. But if I quit Apple, then that means my fun is not my business, which is, I think, really where I'm at, right? And we saw that dynamic where you're like, I'm turning every idea that's coming out of you into a scalable business. And you're like, Alex, I just want to have fun with this.
Well, at least for now, right?
Right. At least for now. There will be a moment, right? But I was there. I was there 3 or 4 years ago where I hit record on my first video and we published it. It was the worst video I've ever done in my life. But never in a million years did I think that I'd be feeding my kids with it right now.
Hey, and that's great. That's awesome.
So I don't
know. Think about if you never started.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta really bring this notebook closer. I have a notebook over there. I have I think March or April 2014 my YouTube channel idea.
Cool.
And the channel didn't launch until basically it was December 3rd, 2021.
7 years later.
Yeah, and I wrote it down the first time in 2014.
That's sweet.
So yeah, you got to start. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, so many things happen when you start things that are scary. Oh. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, but you don't know, right? What is it? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, thank you so much.
Good. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime you want to come back, let me know. I know you run the Jira Life twice and saved our butts twice.
Keep you awake.
Yeah, keep us awake. But appreciate you, and hope to see you. I'm hosting next year, so plan for a couple of extra days before or after Teams.
Yes.
And, I hope to see you here. You got to join the list. Apparently, I'm going to have some sort of a barbecue or something in the backyard, but it's going to be raining. April rains in Southern California, so.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. We'll figure something out.
But yeah, there's an ever-growing list of people that just want to come and hang out in my house and have fun.
we can shine those 32 panels on the roof.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it.
Raining, so there won't be a whole lot of sun to charge them up. So.
Okay.
All right, for everyone, thank you so much, Kristján. Thank you so much for taking the time here. It was a blast. Did you know is an amazing brand here, an amazing thing that you're doing. Keep it up. I hope to steal a few, and I hope you steal a few from me too.
Totally. Thanks, man.
All right.